lied. This is the fourth time that I am going to record this video. I want to take you guys along as I invested yesterday. When you see this, it doesn't matter, but I invested yesterday in a public speaking workshop that is hosted by Speaking Your Brand. This company was founded by Carol, teach you how to become a public speaker and really like get out of that whole I'm an expert thing, which I feel like I'm currently stuck in. So I invested yesterday, and today we're gonna have a Zoom, like where we're gonna meet them and whoever else can get on that Zoom, and they're just gonna prepare us for the actual workshop is June 5th. June 5th, right? Yeah. So they're actually gonna prepare us, like, so we don't just show up, because it's not that it's only one day, but one of my hesitancies of investing for this one day workshop was like, it's only one day. Like, how much am I really going to accomplish? There's, other women that are going to be there. Like, how much hands-on one-on-one am I going to get? Right. So the push was one, intuition, backstory to this. Diane came to speak at our Women on the Rise meeting on Monday evening. And that was very strategic in itself, because the room is full of high achieving women that we are, getting the bag or wanting to get the bag. You get what I'm saying? So like, being a business owner, I was like, oh, this is strategic networking at its finest, because she came to this knowing like, okay, I'm going to go to this Women on the Rise event. And I'm pretty sure that she had we'll get X amount of people, right? So I was one of the people. So she spoke to us just about personal branding, and she gave us this worksheet. Fill out this worksheet so y'all can see some of my business, but the pillars of your personal brand. And so she had this worksheet where it's like, what are your assets? What are your accolades, your advocates, your affiliations, your avenues? What are your aspirations? And then what are your actions? So I filled it out a little bit, and I was like, okay, like, I know this stuff, like I've taken courses and all of that stuff, but it's just interesting how I kind of feel like I'm at this weird place right now, especially I dropped out of school. So like I shared with you all, I'm going back to the basics. The basics is my business, my yoga business, and really supporting Black new moms. That's really what it is. And so the back of this sheet, it asks you, so you do the front, and then it's like, which personal brand pillar will your story be based on? At this time, I said I'm picking the affiliation, like me quitting school, but then like, how does that tie into Black new moms, right? And then it's like, write the story below using the ideal storytelling ingredients. So we did that quick little thing with us, and then that night, and then obviously at the end, she sold us June 5th. She's like, hey, if you want to continue to go into this, we're going to be having an in-person workshop. And my friend Brittany, shout out to Brittany, she had already done this workshop, and she spoke so highly of it that I already had that in the back of my head. So I was I'm gonna listen, because my friend said this did wonders. And Brittany already is killing it with her speaking. She travels now and speaks on panels, all of the things on podcasts. And so just to see how she has grown and blossomed since doing this one day workshop, I'm like, all right. And so like I said, today is the Zoom prep session where they sent us an email saying they're going to give us an overview of the workshop. We're going to select our topic to work on at the workshop for your signature talk, what to wear, and then if you have Q&A. So I'm really scared about the selecting your topic, because like I just shared with you all, I'm like, okay, I think I want to talk about dropping out of school, but at the same time, Black new moms. And so I'm gonna relay that to them, because that's why they have this, right? Because they're gonna help me kind of get clear. But I get scared, So anyways, I really like how this is all going already. And like I said, the hesitancy, my goodness, that word, me being hesitant was because I'm like, okay, one day, but to see how as soon as I hit pay, I'm getting emails like they're like, we need your headshot because we're gonna make a book like with all of the women, so you have, you know, their information and can stay connected and know who does what, right? What else do they send me? Then they're like the Zoom prep session, blah blah blah. And it's so funny. I literally paid for this workshop yesterday, and then I got all the automated emails, and they're like, yeah, the Zoom prep session is tomorrow, which is today. And I'm like, oh my God, like look at God, like I got in literally at the perfect time, right? So I'm really excited to see today who's on the call. And so I'm going to take you guys along, because if you are anything like me, or you're just here for the journey, but if you're anything like me where you're like an expert in what you do, like I am a registered nurse, and this is the rut, right? Like where it's like people don't care, like they care, but they don't. Like what really sells people, what really like makes people want to invest in you is your story. So I really want to get this signature talk like clear. Lesline. I am the founder of Lesline Does Wellness, where I show new moms how to put themselves first through the use of yoga. As a kid, at first I thought you said, what did you want to be when you grow up? So then but then at the end, I guess so I have a different answer. I don't know. As a kid, I did a lot of different things. I was very ambitious. I still am. Like it was all about school for me. I wasn't crafty in any kind of way. So it was very like school, school, school. And if it wasn't school, like, church. So it was very like, actually traveling, because my dad used to be a truck driver, so he would take us all across the country. We've been even to Canada as a kid, so we drove from Florida to Canada, me, him, and my sister. That's like one of the most memorable things, and it was just a lot of fun because you're a kid and you get to see new places. So I would say as a kid I loved to travel. Okay, so it's the next day of from the Speaking Your Brand workshop. When I tell you that was one of the best workshops that I think it was the best workshop I've done. That I've taken as a participant. I came in not really I don't want to say I had low expectations. I didn't really have low expectations because my friend Brittany, she already did this workshop, right? But I still was like, how are they going to get me a talk, help me craft my signature talk in one day, right? This is how we curated our talk, okay? So this is everything. Board, it was blank to begin with, and then they gave us 4 different types of post-it notes. My favorite part of the workshop, which if you had, and I'm glad Brittany didn't, Brittany said it's really great, blah, 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 but I'm so glad that she didn't say everything that was she didn't give me a detailed itinerary of everything that they did, because this part that I'm going to say is my favorite. If she had told me, I would have been even more nervous. We did improv. We did 2 rounds of a quick improv activity. And when Carol and Diane mentioned it, I was so nervous. And after I did it, though, I felt so exhilarated. It was similar to after I did my boudoir photo shoot for my 30th birthday. It was a very similar feeling, okay? And I recommend everybody do something that scares the crap out of you, okay? But the space, so we were at the Citrus Club, and the workshop was from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., okay? And we had 1 hour break for lunch. And so we had about 6 hours, if you will, 6 to 7 hours of focusing on our talk and then getting tips and being able to ask Diane and Carol questions in real time. And when I tell you, though, the space just felt so safe, and I just the stories that the other women shared, I was just I was how am I in this room? But it's I have done my own work, so of course I deserve to be in this room, right? But I was just damn, there are some incredible women. When women get together, when the right women get together, it's magical. it is magical. And so the improv activity was my favorite. How the day opened was, they show you some slides, what to expect, whatever, which we already knew what to expect. So we actually just jumped in. And that's what I actually liked, is because we did a Zoom session where they're like, this is what to expect. So it cut, that kind of cut, like they just were just, okay, welcome, we're here, let's get into it. And so they're like, okay, we're going to do an icebreaker, which they didn't call an icebreaker. I don't think they did. But they were just like, okay, everybody's going to go on stage, because there was a stage. We got to go up at least 3 times. Yeah, so in the morning, we had to share an embarrassing story in under 1 minute. So everything I liked too was timed, because our time is limited, but it didn't feel limited, if that makes sense. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? Like, I was so nervous. And then thankfully, I think it was Carol that was like, you can think of a story with your kids. So I shared an embarrassing story with one of my kids. And so we did that. Then we just got right into the boards. They also gave us a workbook that had like all of us. So what was nice, it was like maybe 12 to 15 of us, but it didn't feel like a lot. Like that might sound like it, but it wasn't. And so in the book, though, we have all of our headshots, our pretty headshots, like on the first few pages, and then our contact information, so we can stay in touch with this cohort, right? And then there's just like some more activities, ways to like craft your story. And then like this is the signature talk thing, right? So then we started working on the board. And then we had lunch. And then after lunch is when we did the improv, which was super smart because, after lunch, and also me, I'm a morning person. So like in the afternoon, I wind down where I'm just like, I'm so tired. But this was like, it really got your heart rate up because of all of the nerves to do the improv. So we did 2 rounds of improv. Then we had to go up and do a piece of this. So we had 5 minutes to share a piece of that. You didn't necessarily, let me also say this, you didn't necessarily have to share what you did for the day. She was like, just share something in 5 minutes. So it's just giving you, when I tell you, it's the immersion, because when people see stage and they hear public speaking, like that's some of people's biggest fear is public speaking, right? So I really appreciate how these ladies like we're going to immerse you 3 times. They don't tell you that from the jump. They're just like, before you go in though, that you're going to be on the stage. You just don't know like when and like how often. Honestly, I thought it was just like going to be a one-time stage thing. So I really, really appreciated the like full on immersion, the literal hands-on feedback. So after we did the final talk, our 5-minute talk, then they would come up. So like Carol came up, and if you know me, I'm learning how to get better with feedback, right? And learning not to take it personal, learning that feedback from the people that I value will make me better, right? Will make me better, will make my business better. And Carol, the way she gave feedback, I was so receptive to her. So like she comes up after I do my talk and she's like, how did that feel? And mind you, though, you're in front of everybody, but it doesn't feel like intimidating. And then she just shared with me, like to not touch up here so much, because when you're wearing like a lapel mic, you don't want the audio. Because even with this, right? Like if I'm wearing this and then I'm tapping my upper body, it's going to mess up the audio, right? So that was some good feedback. So also, they gave us a box, which I should be sharing that. So they gave us a box of speaker essentials, right? And one of those things was a tripod. And it was really nice because then at the end, when we had to do our presentation, they're like, okay, put your phone in the tripod that we got you and record yourself so then you can look at yourself speaking. But if you know me and you're like, damn, Lesline, you post so much videos. So funny story, I don't be having space on my phone. And that's the reason I got a camera, because I don't be having space on my phone. So tell me how I record. And it only got 51 seconds of my 5-minute talk. So you guys will see that 51-second clip. However, I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with myself. That's when you can't point outward and you can only point inward. That's why I be practicing yoga, so I don't be so hard on myself. It is annoying, right? But I say all that to say I need to get another device apparently. But it was a really, really great workshop. Like, I'm going to leave their website down below, because even if you don't live in Florida, because there were women that like from South Carolina, I want to say there was like a woman from Boston. Like, even if you don't live here, it was worth it. It was worth it. It really was. And also that's the other thing, is like, we all had such different stories, and they were able to give such great feedback for each of us, tens of all across the board. So again, their information is going to be down below. I am not I'm not getting a kickback. I'm not getting anything, but I definitely, like, I'm telling everybody that if you are looking to just get better at public speaking, like, you're just like genuinely like, I just want to get better at public speaking. Like, don't also say this. If you're somebody, because I used to be like this, if you're like, I don't have a story, like, my life is boring. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a voice. Your voice matters. And that's why I love, because Carol and Diane are all about empowering every single woman to use their voice to change the world. And that in itself, like, I should leave you with that. I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you. And remember, you have a story. Your voice does matter. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.